Today on the show, we are talking wellness with Dr. John Hatch from Brain Rehab Clinic, and we are talking facelifts with our favorite board-certified plastic surgeon, Grant A. Fairbanks from Fairbanks Art of Plastic Surgery.
And we've been doing this for 10 years. I know the show, it goes quickly, but 10 years?
How am I still 29?
It's amazing.
It is amazing. All this and more coming at you right here, right now on Talk 365 TV.
Years, Holly. I went back and we'll show some pictures of us 10 years ago. And
that feels like literally yesterday. But when we start thinking back to where we were and how many things we've been through, health stuff, personal stuff, marriages, divorces, all kinds of fun things we have been through together.
As you get a little older, time
morphs.
Yeah, you remember being a little kid and your birthday be next week, and that like 6 or 7 days to your birthday would slow down to a crawl.
Yep.
Now that is not the case. Things are moving.
I literally don't know where weeks go. I don't know where entire months go.
I remember I was living in Vegas at the time when Salt Lake got the Olympics. So it was probably around 95, 96. And I remember going, God, that's going to be forever. And boom, it was there. Now the announcement that we look really good for 2030, which I would prefer.
Yeah, earlier the better.
But there's a conflict because LA's got the 2028 games, and they don't want to have 2 games in the U.S. back to back.
Okay, now Tripp, besides us hanging out for 10 years and having a lot of fun, you have been having a lot of fun in your personal life. Do you want to just give us like maybe your top 2 places that you've been in the last 3 months? We'll just even go that far.
So we have been lucky, and we went to Europe for 2 weeks twice, and which is crazy. But the craziest thing is my wife rented a car in southern Italy. Driving on the Amalfi Coast is as terrifying as anything.
Wait, are you on the wrong side of the road in Italy or not?
No, right side of the road.
Same
but
side.
It still doesn't matter when a road goes from a narrow 2 to a 1. And
a cliff.
And everyone on motorcycles flying by, cars.
No speed limits, really, so much?
Well, speed limit, I mean, if you go too fast, you're going to go off a cliff. Anyway, the Amalfi Coast is one of the prettiest spots. And then some of the other countries we went to on a separate trip, we had amazing experiences. But here's the embarrassing one. We went back east for a couple weeks, and we ended up in Chicago, which is not back east for those of you with a map. But we went to Springsteen, one of the shows at Wrigley Field. And after 3 hours, Springsteen doesn't stop.
Wow.
He just goes, doesn't take a seat. I danced for 3 hours, and my wife said to me afterwards, "You are the worst dancer I've ever seen. You were the worst dancer out of 40,000 people there." And I said to her very confidently, that means we never have to dance again. So that's a win-win. You dance at your wedding, then that's it.
And for 3 hours at Springsteen.
Yes.
You absolutely should do that. And then you should dance at my wedding and everyone else's wedding. You'll dance again. But I want to hear more about Springsteen. We'll save it for later. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back on Talk 365 TV right after this.
This will be everlasting love. This will be.
Fall in love twice a day with Talk 365 TV on CW30 or anytime online. Talk 365 TV. It's an everlasting love.
Talk 365 TV's Wellness Minute is brought to you by Brain Rehab Clinic.
Hey, my name is James Lawrence, the Iron Cowboy, and I'm best known for doing 50 Ironmans, 50 days in 50 states, and most recently, 100 consecutive full-distance triathlons with no days off. And once you complete something like that, you realize how powerful the mind is, and everybody's fascinated with preparation and execution, and then when recovery happens, you realize how much trouble you're in. And I've had at least 6 concussions, and then also broke my back at that Conquer 100. And the back has healed itself, but I now have this incredible pain. Never thought I'd run again until I found these guys right here. And Dr. Hatchie's incredible, and he has totally changed my life. I'm now back to running pain-free. In fact, I'm going to the World Championships this year to be competitive again, and that I never thought would be possible. So thank you so much to everybody here, and I would recommend it to every single person that's ever experienced any trauma or anything in their lives. This place will change you.
Today's wellness news you can use is brought to you by Fairbanks Art of Plastic Surgery.
Welcome back, everybody. Holly Love, Trip Mitchell, and we are talking facelifts. Not just any facelift, deep plane facelift from Grant A. Fairbanks at Fairbanks Art of Plastic Surgery. Now, this is different from anything you've ever seen. Because of the way he approaches the facelift from the deep plane, he offers all kinds of facelifts, but the deep plane is his specialty. You go from looking like mother to daughter. You don't look like you've had work done. So if you've ever had that experience when someone has had a facelift that did not go well, and they look like they're in a windstorm, and then they don't want to tell you that they had work done, and so you're supposed to pretend like nothing has happened, and you're like,
They should have an Oscar for Best Actor.
for the person that has to pretend like you don't see it, right? Because you've been traveling a lot. And we both talked that, 2020 was the year of getting work done if you wanted to get work done. So what does it look like out there? What's the lay of the land?
There are some people with no hint of human expression.
Oh, wow.
And that is the worst, when everything is just like a mask.
Frozen.
Yeah.
Amy Schumer has a Netflix special right now, and she cracks me up, of course. And you know how cute, and she is full cheeked. And admittedly so, that's what she says. She's like, I went to see my dermatologist and whoever it is that does filler, esthetician. And she was talking about how they had the audacity to think that she needed more up in here to lift her face, and she said she got home. You'll have to check it out. She could barely open her eyes. She's
Amy
adorable.
Schumer is a genius, but we here at Talk 365 TV recommend having a great job done,
Yes.
and Dr. Fairbanks would be the one to do it.
Dr. Fairbanks is a board-certified plastic surgeon, and you really need to look into what that means. And all of his credentials, he actually trains surgeons from across the world on all kinds of procedures, including this one. He has an artistic background. He even has a museum right now showcasing all of his family's art. He comes from a legacy of artists, and they have done pieces that are in Washington, D.C. There are pieces on top of temples. Actually, the eagle over in downtown Salt Lake City was created by his father. So a legacy of artistic talent in this family. Dr. Fairbanks went into plastic surgery, utilizes those skills. I don't think you want somebody working on any part of you, but especially your face, who doesn't understand symmetry and artistic beauty.
Nor do I want someone working on my face who did that stupid piece of art out at the airport. Next time you go to the airport, take a look as you drive in. You're not going to miss it.
It's bad,
insane.
right?
Yes, I would not want
Bad
him
art
working on me.
and bad surgery. Not two good things.
Those are two bad things. What are we going to take a look at now?
We are going to check out Joyce, who had a deep plane facelift, and she's going to tell you all about her experience and why she recommends Dr. Grant A. Fairbanks.
Talk 365 TV's Wellness Minute is brought to you by wellness team expert Dr. Grant A. Fairbanks.
I felt fantastic. I never had any pain. I felt like I looked like a movie star right out of the gate. And I'm just so happy with the results. Hi, I'm Joyce. I found Dr. Fairbanks because I was looking for a deep plane facelift, and I saw that he offered that. So I came in for a consultation after already getting consultations from 8 other doctors. The consultation process was really personable. I felt like he understood what I was looking for, and he was really open about what he would and wouldn't do. And even though he knew I wanted deep plane, he made sure I understood all the options. I felt the surgery was best for me because I was convinced that without that, it wouldn't last as long and it wouldn't look as good. After the consultation, I booked my surgery, and it wasn't too far out, a few months, enough for me to get ready and stop the supplements and things that I needed to do and make plans with my work. And actually the time I was here was about 12 hours from walking in to actually waking up in recovery. And despite that, I felt fantastic. I never had any pain. I felt like I looked like a movie star right out of the gate. And I'm just so happy with the results. I would tell anybody that gets the surgery, don't start worrying about little imperfections until a year. In recovery, there was this little divot or something that looked like everything wasn't pulled quite right, but that was just because of a difference in pressure with the bandages. Everything smoothed out once the swelling went down. Also little gathers in the suture area, that also all smoothed out over time because skin wants to be smooth, and it just does. It works down and smooths out. I just spent a little bit too much time worrying. I would refer Dr. Fairbanks to my friends and family. In fact, my husband had a cyst above his eyebrow and a fatty lipoma on his forehead, and he got those removed, and he said he would go nowhere else for anything to do with that if it came back again. Dr. Fairbanks was really easy to work with through that whole process. He is really natural, easygoing. He even could be stern with me when I needed it because I can get panicky and over concerned, and his confidence really carried over for me and helped me feel good. I'm almost a year and a half post-op right now, and really happy. I would say that is for really the average person. I never felt like I had to be a fancy person to be here or to buy one. It really is for anybody who has a need to fix something, and it's affordable, and I felt like it was better than buying a new car, and that's about how much it cost about a used car. I mean, would I rather have that or a facelift? Totally the facelift. I've been getting Botox since my mid-30s because my children had seen me just resting, and they said, "Mom, why are you angry?" And it wasn't that I was angry, that's when I started getting Botox. And this just really was part of that whole process of looking like I feel I'm happy, I'm content, I'm relaxed, and now I continue to have that with my skin as well. I really recommend this procedure. I had some issues that made me behave in ways that showed my lack of confidence, and that went away, and I feel really natural, more natural with people. I don't think about my looks. Actually, I wanted the facelift partly because I had looked miserable, and I really do feel like I exude the joy that I have inside.
For the time of your life, watch Talk 365 TV twice daily on Utah's CW30 or anytime online. Talk 365 TV's Talking Wellness is brought to you by Brain Rehab Clinic.
Now that we've made you beautiful, we want to help on the software up top.
Ooh.
And that is not a hair transplant. That is not a new toupee. It's in the brain area.
That is true.
How was that for a throw?
That was good, but I'd say, you can still help your hair out too if you need to. But yes, we are talking autism. It is Autism Awareness here today on the show. We are talking with Brain Rehab Clinic and Dr. John Hatch once again about functional neurology and the developing brain. So what is interesting, Trip, is that something that Brain Rehab Clinic has known for decades, years, case study after case study, science has finally caught up. And what is really nice about that is, of course, the support and the acknowledgement from the scientific journals that are all coming out right now saying that eye functionality is the key to understanding and diagnosing autism in kids earlier, which is the key to helping them be able to learn and grow in a way that they are able to be successful later on in life. Now, the reason science being behind is sort of troublesome is that they know how to diagnose, but not everybody really knows how to treat. Now, at Brain Rehab Clinic, Dr. Hatch has been working on not only his own equipment that is state-of-the-art brain assessment and rehabilitation tools that not only test your eyes and your balance so that they can create custom treatment plans with exercises that you do at home and in-clinic treatments that are beyond anything anyone has been able to do so far. They have case study after case study. One little girl was basically 5 years behind in middle school. And Trip, that's basically a death sentence. That's when they pretty much throw you into resource and you go through the system and they kind of pat you on the head and give you a diploma that's really just honorary once you graduate from high school, because they just can't keep you in the system. They just need to move you out, but you're not prepared for life. Now, this little girl went to brain rehab and then ended up graduating from high school with honors, is now getting her master's esthetician degree, and she is thriving in life, both personally, socially, and also in her career and what she wants to do with it. Now, if that's not a success story, I don't know what is, but there are so many of those. And if you want more, I recommend logging onto their website. Check it out. You can get all kinds of information. And then here is Dr. John Hatch. We talk all about autism. We're going to break it down even further. Check it out.
Talk 365 TV's Talking Wellness is brought to you by Brain Rehab Clinic with wellness team expert Dr. John Hatch.
Hey everybody, welcome to our Talking Wellness series on brain function. Today I am back at the Brain Rehab Clinic with our favorite brain expert, Dr. John Hatch. Hi.
Hi, thanks for coming again.
Thank you so much for having me. I always love a good conversation with you because they're all hot topics. Everyone wants to know how to up-level their life through up-leveling their brain. It's like we're just figuring it out.
Yeah.
So today we are going to talk about the developing brain and what is happening there and why we have so many kids struggling with ADHD, emotional disorders. There's so many parents out there who are at the end of their rope, teachers who have given up, kids who are just struggling from every aspect you can think of, and going on medications younger and younger and younger. So what's going on?
Yeah, you have a huge spectrum here going on. We have kids that aren't talking, aren't focusing, aren't learning, or are really quiet. And then we have the kid that's jumping all over the place, won't pay attention, is aggravated, upset, angry. And so people don't know what to do. And the medication is kind of like a, well, let's try this, we're unsure, we're not sure of this part. The developing brain is actually more simple than we give credit to. It builds building block upon building block like you're building a house. You build the foundation, you build the framework, and then you get it all to the details. A lot of people are jumping so quickly to the details of a child's brain and they want him to do mathematics, but they don't have the right sensory system correct to even develop the mathematics. And so we're able to see so many different walks of life here in the clinic because through our diagnostic tests, similar to our aging brain, we can see what hasn't developed yet. Because we know how a child's brain develops. Hey, at this stage you should be here, at this stage you should be here. And a lot of parents are like, oh, we missed that window, so now there's no hope there. No, there's complete hope. You can miss 3 of the steps. Your brain can still adapt, you can still make changes. These young brains develop faster. The difference in the clinic is you might not see the same quick result because the quick result is with an already existing brain, like an elderly brain or a teenager or an adult, that you quickly just reconnect things. With a child, it's exciting because you're actually developing a pathway that's never existed for them. The outcome is like
huge, life-changing, so
life-changing.
life-changing.
Yeah.
Every experience they're going to have from that point forward is going to be different from that point forward. Well, let's talk about the things that may be contributing, like an injury that you don't know about.
Yeah, a lot of times injuries are hugely affected. People will come in and say, oh, my kid's never hit their head. And I'm like, I have a 2-year-old, he falls all the time. He's had more goose eggs than most humans should. And we know that's gonna change how the brain adapts to the environment. Or the child that doesn't sleep through the night. And the parent's like, I've tried everything. Melatonin's not working, supplements, medication's not working. It's, how the brain's developing.
You talk a lot about how, we are in this world with technology and the coolest things, how to make your brain be able to work within it faster, better, stronger, not never use it.
Yep. And so the technology is intelligent. People always ask me, what's your law on screen time? I don't have a rule on screen time because half of the fathers or moms are sitting at a desk job all day for 15 hours a day. So the amazing thing is it's not the lack of screen time. It's where are your eyes in association to that screen. That's what I'm looking at. So the biggest thing that I see with patients in developing children's brains is most of them, if you watch them, it's not their bad neck posture because their head's down. It's actually because they're starting to bring their eyes into a cross-eye, we call it a convergence, because the target or the image they're looking at is closer. Look at your average 2-year-old, 4-year-old that's watching a video. I mean, it is under 8 inches. They're like this, and they're in a cross-eyed state that is activating their fight or flight stage in the brain. So they're developing the fight or flight with the frontal lobe, but a lot of times people focus too much on frontal lobe development. What I've seen neurologically is it's more sensory imbalance. So they're not getting the same sensory aspect, and it develops gut issues. It develops these food sensitivities that we've seen higher in today's society than ever before. We've had so many patients that have come in that have had a child that's so underdeveloped that they say, well, they'll never speak, they'll never learn, they'll never read, they'll never walk. And then all of a sudden, 6 months later, 18 months later, that child's walking, reading, focusing, playing, doing all the things that the world has said, you got a broken child, so to speak.
Yeah.
I don't think any child's broken. I believe every child has a chance if we can activate their brain right. Even the anger emotional traumas are more neurological than they are emotional.
Which I think is something that is mind-blowing and empowering at the same time for parents who are struggling with those kids that are just anger reactive all the time and hold on to anger and are having a hard time having friends.
Yes, but it's more sensory imbalance. There's a lot more sensory connections that are broken, that aren't activated right because we're not moving, we're not as active as we once were, that we don't have the same ability to develop the sensory pathway, so then the frontal lobe develops too fast, but has still an underdeveloped sensory system, so then they start talking and acting like an adult, and they're 6 years old, and you're having a conversation with a 6-year-old that's like, this is the most frustrating thing ever, but their sensory system is underdeveloped at like a 4-year-old, so they're not even comprehending what's happening. So what I've noticed, tantrums, like hyperfixations. I know you know what I'm talking about. When that child just fixes and it's like, why can't the child break that? It's because of its development, not because it's strong-willed.
Misbehaving. So kids coming in here, what ages, how should people be thinking about bringing their children into brain rehab?
Well, when I look at a child, it's where are they at in their development. Truthfully, with all of our diagnostic tests, from about age 4 and up, we can do most of the diagnostic tests on any age 4 and up, unless that brain is really underdeveloped because they don't want to put a goggle headset on or they can't stand still. There's still information we can gain. I've seen patients as young as 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, in that first year of development, and the child isn't latching on right. The child isn't tracking right with their eyes or cross-crawling at month 6 or month 9 or whatever it may be. With a newborn or a younger child, there's still based neurological testing that tell you where the brain are broken down, like a Babinski test. You can tell more out of a Babinski test than any other test on a child, and you see these reflexes and say, that is abnormal, let's apply some therapies and see if we can get it to change.
Is it the same for kids as it is with adults? It's a little heavy at the start. If you can get in here to the clinic, how does that work?
So we like to see a brain for a whole week, and the reason why we like to see it for a week and see it every day is we're not going to see symptoms change unless we can see the brain change. And a brain can change pretty rapidly, so we can see changes and results pretty much each day. So as the brain's developing, it should change and shift, change and shift. We should see an outcome by the end of the week. That's why we do such a week intense. And then from there, it's about empowering the parents and the child to get to that 3-month mark. It's amazing when we look at these results and we see a child go from can't focus, can't read, to now top of their class, really focused in school, 3 months, 6 months later. It's our responsibility just to get the therapies right for them. And no two brains are the same, which is why a cookie cutter program doesn't work on a developing brain. It will only get a few of them. The key is getting every child, because every child matters. And when the child believes in themselves, it even takes it to another level. When a child can see how bad the system really is, it validates in them, I'm not broken. I'm not something that's a lost cause. There really is a reason why I can't read or I can't focus. I want that confidence in that child.
Yeah, I think the main point that I would recommend is come in. Because what do you have to lose except for a child that has everything to gain and a whole new life to experience in a different way? And the testing here is so thorough and so on point that you're gonna know if this is the right thing to do or not. So the best way is log on to his website. There is tons of information there. There are online trainings and there are even initial consultations that you can purchase to learn more before you even need to come in here to know if this is the right thing for you, your family, your child. And then get in here, get this work done. Your kids are gonna thank you. You're gonna be happier, everyone's happier. When the brain is happy, everyone's happy. That's what I've learned.
So true.
Well, Dr. Hatch, thank you so much. Always a pleasure.
Thank you.
I can't wait till the next round. But in the meantime, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back right here on Talk 365 TV right after this.
When we realized that our daughter truly was having such a hard time getting the airflow that she needed, this inspired us to explore Dr. Fairbanks because we knew not only of his expertise on this exact surgery, but we also were concerned about my daughter breathing freely. She had broken her nose at a younger age. After Grace's surgery, Dr. Fairbanks sat down with me and he said, you may notice that she has a little bit of a personality shift, and it truly has affected her ability to sleep and really has brought up her moods. Myself, my husband, my daughter, and my son-in-law, we would all recommend Dr. Fairbanks. He is an incredible plastic surgeon.
And it's interesting, the progression that we're having in medicine, and now because of artificial intelligence, things are going to pick up at a level that's going to be insane. And as a physician or any type of professional person, if you're not keeping up, things are just accelerating. It's like what we were talking about earlier.
Right.
So there's so many things that are happening so quickly.
Like you're saying, true to point, how far it's coming in every category. So not just, functional neurology and the developments they've seen over there, but like with your knees. How are you doing? Your knees, your shoulders, you are a bionic man. You're a walking testimony of this stuff.
Yeah, and thank you to Tosh for letting me be the ribbon cutter at their last facility opening. And
that was so fun. But more importantly, are we skiing and are we skating this year?
We are playing hockey. I joined a league in Park City.
Nice.
Yeah, which, it's not that much further a drive, but some great folks up in Park City, and you get to skate at 7,000 feet, which is good for you. And my 11th year at Snowbird, and so we're going to have a great year. Our editor-in-chief is going to be coming up and visiting me at Snowbird. So
Rahul, did he finally talk to you about it? I've been telling
he's got
him forever.
an Icon pass, so he gets 5 days at Snowbird and Alta. So
Well, we'll be having to let him off to go do that because
we'll bring the camera up there.
He has been learning to ski, like recent skier, which I think is very brave. I only lodge at hot chocolate and turkey chili for the most part.
Turkey chili is wussy. But anyway, thank you so much. 10 years we've been doing this. I want to thank Rich Bonaducci, who stepped in for a year and a half during that period.
Farrell Lafferty.
And
Bill Francis. We had so much fun with crowd surfing, which sort of got kiboshed a bit during the pandemic, but I think it's coming back. I think events are happening again.
Yeah.
In a big way.
Yeah, Sundance is going to be amazing. We'll be still covering it. 10 years we've done it. Trip Mitchell for Holly Love. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.